The reason you feel less confident the moment you walk into a room, it isn't your mindset. It's a series of tiny, hidden behaviors. And today, we're going to show you the 3 nonverbal confidence leaks that are quietly sabotaging your presence and exactly how to seal them instantly.
This idea, it's a fundamental shift in how we think about power. We're always taught that confidence is about adding stuff, right? Adding new skills, memorizing clever lines, practicing power poses in the mirror. But true, unshakable presence, that comes from subtraction. It's not about faking it till you make it. Nope. It's about finding and eliminating the subconscious signals that are draining your credibility before you even say a word. We call this low-level nonverbal leakage. Think about it. It's the constant fidgeting, the endless ums and likes, that rushed kind of breathless speech. These are the tiny cracks in your armor that just broadcast anxiety. And once you see these leaks, you can't unsee them. But the good news is, you can seal them.
So, this brings us to what I call the confidence paradox. See, we imagine our power gets lost in these big, dramatic failures, like flubbing a key statistic or forgetting someone's name in a huge presentation. But that's just not how it works. Your authority isn't shattered by some lightning strike. It's eroded, drip by these tiny, subconscious signals of anxiety you're broadcasting without even realizing it. It's the pen you're clicking, the foot you're tapping. It's the way you kind of shrink your own shoulders to take up less space. Every single one is a tiny leak in the container of your confidence. And these are the leaks we're here to seal.
Okay, so let's look at the 2 approaches. On one side, you have the common way of thinking, just add confidence tricks. This is the world of surface-level advice, right? Telling yourself you're a tiger in the mirror, or doing some rigid power pose that just feels weird. And the problem is, these things are fragile. They're like a thin layer of paint that cracks and peels the second you feel real pressure in a high-stakes meeting. The moment your anxiety spikes, poof, the tricks are gone, and all those old leaky behaviors come rushing right back. But on the other side, that's the real solution, subtracting the confidence leaks. This is so much more powerful because it's not about adding some fake behavior on top of an anxious foundation. It's about rebuilding the foundation itself. By systematically getting rid of the signals of anxiety, you don't have to act confident anymore. You just stop acting unconfident, and the result is this natural, authentic presence that actually holds up under pressure because it comes from a place of real control.
All right, let's put on our lab coats for a minute, because to really seal these leaks for good, we first have to understand the science behind this self-sabotage. And look, this isn't pop psychology or some motivational fluff. This is rooted in real behavioral science and neurobiology. So think of this next part as the diagnostic phase. We have to understand the mechanics of the problem with clinical precision before we can actually apply the cure. Because understanding the why, well, that's what makes the how so incredibly effective.
Okay, so the root cause of all this has a name. It's called low-status signaling. And this is the invisible force that's just draining your authority. Think about it. When you walk into a high-stakes environment, a job interview, a big pitch, your nervous system can see that as a social threat. And your ancient primal brain just kicks into gear. In response, you subconsciously start using these defensive cues. You cross your arms to protect yourself. You clutch a pen like it's a little weapon. You tap your foot to burn off that nervous energy. You're not even aware you're doing it, but here's the kicker. The people you're with, they're programmed too. Their brains are running the exact same ancient software, and they interpret these little signals of anxiety as a lack of competence, a lack of conviction. You are, without saying a word, telling everyone in the room not to take you or your ideas seriously.
And this is where it gets really bad, because this creates a vicious, self-reinforcing cycle. Let's just walk through it together. Imagine you're about to present an idea. It starts with that little internal flicker of anxiety. That anxiety then triggers those low-status cues we just talked about. Maybe your voice gets a little higher, or you start throwing in filler words. The people in the room, well, they pick up on these cues, maybe not even consciously, and they give you negative social feedback. Maybe they glance at their phone, their eyes kind of glaze over, or they interrupt you. Your brain sees this negative feedback and it absolutely crushes your sense of self-efficacy. That's your core belief in your own ability to succeed. And this erosion of confidence, it just pumps up your anxiety even more, which creates, you guessed it, even more leaks. And what's worse, this entire loop actually inhibits your prefrontal cortex. That's the part of your brain for clear, logical thought. So you're not just looking less confident, you are literally less able to think on your feet. It's a total trap.
So, how do we break this cycle? How do we stop this whole downward spiral before it even gets started? Well, we do it with the core framework of this entire system, the 3 confidence leaks. We are officially moving from diagnosis to prescription. And I want to be clear,
This is not just a collection of random tips. This is a systematic solution with a specific, actionable seal designed to stop each leak right at the source.
Okay, this right here, this lays out the entire system. Let's break it down, one by one. First up, we have the temporal leak. This is all about your relationship with time. When you're anxious, silence feels like a threat, so you rush to fill it. You talk way too fast, you ramble, and you litter your speech with verbal static. Ums, ahs, likes, you know the ones. This signals that you don't think your own ideas are valuable enough to deserve a moment of quiet thought. The seal? It's simple, but it is a game changer. Mandatory pauses. A deliberate 1-second pause before you speak signals control, thoughtfulness, and authority. It gives your words weight. Okay, next up, the proxemics leak. Proxemics is just a fancy word for how you use your body and the space around you. The leak here is that compressed, closed-off posture. You know, clutching a coffee mug for dear life, wringing your hands, keeping your elbows tucked in tight. You're physically making yourself smaller, which is a universal signal of submission. The seal is an open posture and managing your space. You anchor your hands in a calm, neutral position, and you maximize the space you take up. It signals you're comfortable, you're in control, and you own your presence. And finally, we have the attentional leak. This is all about your focus, and honestly, it's the most modern of the three. It's that quick glance at your phone on the table, it's the drifting eye contact when you're thinking, it's mental multitasking. It signals that the person right in front of you is not your top priority. The seal here is an attentional lockdown. We're talking sustained, respectful eye contact and an aggressive, single-tasking focus on the conversation. It is the ultimate sign of respect, and it signals incredible presence.
All right, so we've covered the what, the specific leaks and their seals. But now, to truly master this, we have to understand the why. We're about to hack your brain's response. We're going to dive into the powerful psychological and physiological reasons that make this framework so unbelievably effective. This is the part where you'll see that by changing your external behavior, you're not just changing how other people see you, you're profoundly changing your own internal state.
So there are 3 key psychological hacks that make this whole thing work so well. First, it overrides the internal loop. This is an incredibly powerful biofeedback mechanism. When you consciously stop an anxious behavior, like unclenching your hands or just slowing down your speech, you send a direct signal back to your brain that says, hey, there's no threat here. And this has a real physiological effect. It can actually lower the production of the stress hormone cortisol. Your internal anxiety starts to match your external calm. Your confidence becomes authentic, not faked. Second, you harness safety signaling. Your posture doesn't just affect you, it affects everyone around you. An open, calm posture is processed by the other person's amygdala, that's their brain's ancient threat detector, as a safety signal. You're non-verbally communicating, I'm not a threat, you are safe. This instantly lowers their defenses and builds subconscious rapport. It's huge. And third, it triggers the halo effect. This is a powerful cognitive bias we all have. When people see your linguistic clarity, because you have no filler words, and your visual clarity from a calm, controlled posture, their brains take a shortcut. They just assume that if you're this clear and competent in how you communicate, you must also be highly competent in your ideas. Your message literally gains value just because of how you deliver it.
Okay, we've covered the theory, we've covered the science. Now it is time for application. This is your instant upgrade protocol, and I mean that. This isn't abstract advice. These are 3 non-negotiable tactical steps you can start doing the second this is over to see an immediate, tangible shift in your presence. Think of this as installing a new operating system for your confidence.
Here it is, your protocol. Step 1, the 1-second pause and filler filter. Starting with your very next conversation, I want you to mandate a full 1-second pause before you answer any question. Just inhale. Formulate your first sentence. This single habit will do more for your perceived authority than almost anything else. And along with this, you're going to declare war on verbal fillers. For the next 24 hours, just become hyper-aware of every single and like, and practice replacing them with a moment of powerful silence. Step 2, the anchor and space management. You need to identify a neutral, resting anchor position for your hands. Maybe it's resting them lightly on the table or holding them loosely in front of your waist. This is your home base. Anytime you catch yourself fidgeting or clutching something, you consciously return to your anchor. Also, practice managing your space. Sit forward in your chair, keep your posture open, and don't be afraid to take up the space you deserve. And step 3, the attentional lockdown. This is a hard rule. No exceptions. When you are in a conversation, your phone is either off the table or it's face down and completely out of sight. You commit to single-tasking your focus on the person in front of you, and practice holding eye contact just a little bit longer than feels comfortable. This signals unwavering focus and respect, which is incredibly rare and incredibly valuable today. And that brings us to our final section,
the single distilled lesson of this entire system. This is your new mandate. It's really a philosophical shift that holds up all the tactics we've just discussed. It's the simple, yet absolutely profound idea of subtraction.
I want you to really let this sink in. Powerful presence is achieved by eliminating what you should not be doing. Your goal is not to become some charismatic actor playing the part of a confident person. No, your goal is to become yourself, with all the leaky, subconscious signals of self-doubt just removed. So stop trying to add more layers of performance. Start subtracting the habits that undermine you. That is the path to an authentic, unshakable presence that is truly your own.
So let's recap. The confidence leak framework solves the problem of nonverbal anxiety and self-sabotage. And why does this matter? It matters because it provides a systematic way to instantly upgrade your perceived authority and your internal self-efficacy. By mastering temporal control and proxemics management, you're directly reducing internal cortisol and leveraging safety signaling to build instant rapport. Your mission is simple. Commit to that 1-second pause. Master the anchor position. Start tomorrow. Because remember, productivity isn't about doing more. It's about mastering systems that make focus effortless.